I'll just do my little blurb. So welcome to the English book reading session in Kitely, and we're reading Five Children and It, and we're at chapter 6. Okay, April, whenever you're ready, if you'd like to start reading.
Okay, hi everybody. Chapter 6, A Castle and No Dinner. The others were to be kept in as a punishment for the misfortunes of the day before. Of course, Martha thought it was naughtiness and not misfortune, so you must not blame her. She only thought she was doing her duty. You know, grown-up people often say they do not like to punish you and that they only do it for your own good and that it hurts them as much as it hurts you. And this is really very often the truth. Martha certainly hated having to punish the children quite as much as they hated to be punished. For one thing, she knew what a noise there would be in the house all day, and she had other reasons. I declare, she said to the cook, it seems almost a shame keeping of them indoors this lovely day, but they are that audacious. They'll be walking in with their heads knocked off from some of these days, if I don't put my foot down. You make them a cake for tea tomorrow, dear, and we'll have baby along of us soon as we've got a bit forward with our work. Then they can have a good romp with him out of the way. Now, Eliza, come, get on with them beds. Here is 10 o'clock nearly, and no rabbit's coat. People say that in Kent when they mean and no work done. So all the works were kept in, but Robert, as I have said, was allowed to go out for half an hour to get something they all wanted. And that, of course, was the day's wish. He had no difficulty in finding the sand fairy, but the day was already so hot that it had actually, for the first time, come out of its own accord, and was sitting in a sort of pool of soft sand, stretching itself and trimming its whiskers and turning its snail's eyes round and round. Ha! It said when its left eye saw Robert. I've been looking for you. Where are the rest of you? Not smashed themselves up with those wings, I hope? No, said Robert, but the wings got us into a row, but just like all the wishes always do. So the others are kept indoors, and I was only let out for half an hour to get the wish. So please let me wish as quickly as I can. Wish away, said the samite, twisting itself round in the sand. But Robert couldn't wish away. He forgot all the things he had been thinking about, and nothing would come into his head but little things for himself, like candy, a foreign-stamped album, or a knife with 3 blades and a corkscrew. He sat down to think better of things that the others would not have cared for, such as a football or a pair of leg guards, or to be able to lick Simpkins Minor thoroughly when he went back to school. Well, said the Samite at last, you'd better hurry up with that wish of yours. Time flies. I know it does, said Robert. I can't think what to wish for. I wish you could give one of the others their wish without their having to come here to ask for it. Oh, don't. But it was too late. The Samite had blown itself out to about 3 times its proper size, and now it collapsed like a pricked bubble, and with a deep sigh leaned back against the edge of the sand pool quite faint with the effort. "There," it said in a weak voice. "It was tremendously hard, but I did it. Run along home, or they're sure to wish for something silly before you get there." They were quite sure Robert felt this, and as he ran home, his mind was deeply occupied with the sort of wishes he might find they had wished in his absence. They might wish for rabbits, or white mice, or chocolate, or a fine day tomorrow, or even, and that was most likely, someone might have said, "I do wish to goodness Robert would hurry up." Well, he was hurrying up, and so they would have had their wish, and the day would be wasted. Then he tried to think what they could wish for, something that would be amusing indoors. That had been his own difficulty from the beginning. So few things are amusing indoors when the sun is shining outside, and you may go out, however much you want to do so. Robert was running as fast.
Oh, sorry. Yep, that's it. Good. Awesome.
Too much
Very
wish.
well
Too many wishes. Too many wishes.
Too many wishes. Well, the possibilities are endless. I mean, you imagine reading this book as a child, as I did. You become terrified of making any wish. Okay, very nicely read.
I guess this was the purpose
Oh
to
yes,
spare
it was.
parents.
Most
Yeah.
children's stories are, done for are created to teach children a lesson. Okay, so there's just the one word, April, audacious.
Okay, I said audacious. Okay,
Yeah,
audacious.
you were probably thinking of Audacity, the program.
Yeah, that's
audacious. Does everybody know what audacious means? Have you ever used it in a sentence?
Yeah, because it's from Latin and it means courageous.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than courageous. It means being not risk averse, shall we say. So sometimes in the news you might hear about an audacious robbery. So it's not bravery, but it's they've done something very bold. Okay. Fearless, if you like.
Brutal. Brutal?
Not really. It can also mean being a little bit naughty, showing lack of respect, but it tends to be bold and fearless. Okay. Devil may care is a nice one. There can be a level of insolence about it, absolutely. But devil may care, as in, I don't really have a devil may care attitude, if I'm honest. But some people do, and that they'll do anything. I mean, we were talking about playground equipment today, and then we got on to fairground equipment and these amusement parks. And there are amusement park rides I will not go on because I am not audacious, but Zom and Yuli were like, "Oh, that looks like fun," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." You never catch me dead on that. Okay, so basically just willing to take a risk. Okay, being willing to take a risk. Okay, then yes, fortune favours the brave. Okay, then the other bit, April, is actually just the intonation in the sentence. Okay, so what we've got, oh, that's strange, hang on, let me just get rid of that page 163. Okay, there's a little dash there, so they're not wishing for something, it's something they could wish for. So you'd read it, then he tried to think what they could wish for, something that would be amusing indoors. So he's trying to imagine what could they have wished for, and then he's imagining the sort of things they might have wished for. Do you want to try it? Do you get what I mean, April?
So it's not they could wish for something, but they could wish for.
Yes.
And that for something. Okay. Then he tried to think what they could wish for. Something that would be amusing indoors.
Perfect. Yes. Okay, so there's a difference to wish for something, or what are they going to wish for? Maybe something that would be amusing indoors. Okay. And then I just want to clarify that everybody knows what it means when it says to put your foot down. If somebody says to you, no, I'm going to put my foot down now. Any idea?
I will finish. I will stop. No?
Not quite. No. So, for example, let me think. When I'm in a session, I know that sometimes people would like me to stay for longer, especially if they've only just joined, if they've been sort of like an hour late and I go, oh, I'm sorry, I've got to go, the session's ending. I know they would like me to stay for longer. Sometimes they ask me to stay for longer, but I have to put my foot down. I have to be firm and say no. Yeah. So it literally means to say, no negotiation, that's it. What I've just said is what's going to happen. Okay, I put my foot down. Okay, good. Then next person to read today is Eleanor. So Eleanor,
okay.
as soon as you are ready. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, good. Robert was running as fast as he could, but when he turned the corner that ought to have brought him within sight of the architect's nightmare, the ornamental ironwork on the top of the house, he opened his eyes so wide that he had to drop into a walk, for you cannot run with your eyes wide open. Then suddenly he stopped short, for there was no house to be seen. The front garden railings were gone too, and where the house had stood, Robert rubbed his eyes and looked again. Yes, the others had wished. There was no doubt about it, and they must have wished that they lived in a castle, for there the castle stood, black and stately, and very tall and broad, with battlements and lancet windows, and 8 great towers. And when the garden and the orchard had been, there were white things dotted like mushrooms. Robert walked slowly on, and as he got near, he saw that these were tents, and men in armor were walking about among the tents, crowds and crowds of them. "Oh," said Robert fervently, "they've wished for a castle, and it's being besieged. It's just like that sand fairy. I wish we'd never seen the beastly thing." At the little window above the great gateway, across the moat that now lay where the garden had been but half an hour ago, someone was waving something pale scarlet. Robert thought it was one of Cyril's handkerchiefs. They had never been white since the day when he had upset the bottle of combined toning and fixing solution into the drawer where they were. Robert waved back, and immediately felt that he had been unwise. For the signal had been seen by the besieging force, and 2 men in steel caps were coming towards him. They had high brown boots on their long legs, and they came towards him with such great strides that Robert remembered the shortness of his own legs and did not run away. He knew it would be useless to himself, and he feared it might be irritating to the foe. So he stood still, and the 2 men seemed quite pleased with him. "By my halidom," said one, "a brave varlet this." Robert felt pleased at being called brave, and somehow it made him feel brave. He passed over the wallet. It was the way people talked in historical romances for the young, and he knew, and it was evidently not meant for rudeness. He only hoped he would be able to understand what they said to him. He had not been always able quite to follow the conversations in the historical romances for the young. "His gab is strange," said the other. "Some outlandish treachery, belike." "Say, lad, what brings thee hither?" Robert knew this meant. "Now then, youngster, what are you up to here, eh?" So he said, "If you please, I want to go home." "Go then," said the man in the longest boots. "None hindereth, and not lets us to follow, zooks." He added in a cautious undertone, "I misdoubt me, but he beareth tidings to the besieged." "Where dwellest thou, young knave?" inquired the man in the largest steel cap. Over there," said Robert, and directly he had said it, he knew he ought to have said "yonder." "Ah, sayest so?" rejoined the longest boots. "Come hither, boy, this is matter for our leader." And to the leader Robert was dragged forthwith by the reluctant ear. The leader was the most glorious creature Robert had ever seen. He was exactly like the pictures Robert had so often admired in the historical romances. He had armor, and a helmet, and a horse, and a crest, and feathers, and a shield, and a lance, and a sword. His armor and his weapons were all, I am almost sure, of quite different periods. The shield was 13th century, while the sword was of the pattern used in the Peninsular War. The cuirass was of the time of Charles I. Shield were very grand, 3 red running lions on a blue ground. The tents were of the latest brand approved of by our modern War Office, and the whole appearance of camp, army, and leader might have been a shock to some. But Robert was dumb with admiration, and it all seemed to him perfectly correct, because he knew no more of heraldry or archaeology than the gifted artists who usually drew the pictures for the historical romances. The scene was indeed exactly like a picture. He admired it all so much that he felt braver than ever.
Very good. Well done.
Okay.
Okay. So,
That's fun.
as you say, some interesting vocabulary in this week's. Okay. A couple of words. So let me go through the words first. The first one is broad, like not like road. Yes, we say road, but it's broad.
Broad. Yeah. Broad.
Like or. So try it. Broad.
Broad.
That's better. And then the next one, treachery. It's not like reach.
Treacherous. Okay.
Yeah, treacherous, treachery. Yeah, that's about it really. Treacherous and treachery. And then the last one, when we've got the 1 or the 2, we use the ordinal numbers. So Charles the First.
Yeah. I corrected myself.
Oh, it broke off actually. I had a little.
I see.
A little moment, and I couldn't hear anything, so I didn't catch that. Sorry, but try it anyway. Charles the First.
Charles the First. Yeah, it's obvious.
Okay, good. Now the next bit, it's just about intonation again. So when you're saying when you're comparing two things, so the magazine on the table, it's like that magazine next to it. That's comparing two things and saying they're similar. But this context, he's not saying that they're similar. He's actually being a bit mean about the sand fairy. If you say to somebody, oh, that's just like you, it doesn't mean you're comparing them to something else or someone else. It means you're saying their behaviour is typical and it's usually negative. So here he'd say it with a little bit of annoyance. It's just like that sand fairy. I wish we'd never seen the beastly thing.
I got it, I think. It's just like that sand fairy. I wish we'd never seen the beastly thing.
That's it, yeah. Because if you just said it's just like that sand fairy, then
Yeah, it's
like
neutral.
that thing,
Yeah,
that sand
yeah.
fairy is just like that other sand fairy. It's comparing. This is just, what typical behaviour. And he's annoyed, of course.
He was
the
annoyed.
wish went wrong again.
Of course.
Okay, the next one, you've got a double comma. It is always a bit awkward. So, it was the way people talked in historical romances for the young, he knew. And it was evidently not meant for rudeness. Okay? So he knew that that's what it was, and he knew that he knew goes to the first part of the sentence and the second part. It's like, it was the way people talked then, he knew that, and he also knew it wasn't meant for rudeness. So the he knew kind of stands on its own because it's joined to both, it's referring to both parts of the sentence. Do you want to try it?
Okay. It was the way people talk. It was the way people talked in historical romances for the young. He knew. And it was evidently not meant for rudeness.
Very good. Well done. Okay, and the last one, when you said it, it was like you were saying Robert was dumb. But he's not. Okay, he's struck dumb with admiration. So, not but Robert was dumb with admiration. It's but Robert was dumb with admiration. Okay?
Robert was dumb with admiration.
That's it, yeah. The way you said it, it sounds like you're trying to say Robert's dumb. We know he's quite a clever young man. So...
Oh, of course, very clever.
Yay! Okay, well done. Any questions?
Yeah, some question, Linz. Let's see. What was that again? What does Halidom? Is that Holidom, maybe?
Oh, it's just
it's
part
in
of
my
his
notes.
uniform. Oh, sorry. Yeah, carry on, Eleanor.
It's in my notes, April.
Have you got the
Holy,
link?
yeah.
Have you got the link? Because
Yeah.
I know that Eleanor's done a lot on the notes here because there's a lot of archaic words or historical words, I should say. They're not really archaic because people still dress up like this. But they do it for fun, not because they're part of an army of. They're not part of the peasant army.
And a varlet. What is the varlet here?
It's like page, so a boy who assists
Okay.
by night. Uh-huh.
So let me give you the
But,
link, everybody, because I think Eleanor has. Oh, you've done it. Oh, well, there you go. I'm so
Yeah,
slow.
yeah.
I'm so slow.
And what does they mean with? Is that the that said none hindereth and not not I know nothing. Yeah, not is nothing, but this is none hindereth.
Nobody's stopping you. To hinder
So
somebody.
like
to
in
hinder.
just archaic endings. This with
So in olden days, there were lots of these and thous and uths in old, not old English, but as children we played with that language and we would try and speak in that sort of Shakespearean way. Praise Cyril. Oh, Moz is joining us. He'll have to listen though. We won't be able to offer him a reading. But anyway,
And
yes,
Zoots,
Darcy does.
Eleanor?
Oh, Zoots, yeah. Did you look up Zoots, Eleanor? Good luck
I
finding
tried,
it.
but I
No,
haven't found it.
It's just an exclamation.
Okay.
Zut alors.
I see.
Okay, you might know Zut alors.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
like borrowing. It's just an exclamation of surprise. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good, good. Well done. Okay, so let me see who's up next to read. Shiny. Shiny. Are you ready to read?
Hello.
Hello. Thank goodness. Good. So whenever you're ready.
Sorry, I was asking you. Where should I start?
Come hither, lad. Page 168.
You mean come hither? That you mean that?
Yep.
Okay. Come hither, that, say the glorious leader, when the man in Cromwellian steel caps had said a few low, eager words, and he took off his helmet, because he could not see properly with it on. He had a kind face and long fair hair. Have no fear. Thou shalt take no scathe, he said. Robert was glad of that. He wondered what scathe was, and if it was nastier than the senna tea, which he had to take sometimes. Unfold thy tale without alarm, said the leader kindly. Whence comest thou? And what is thine intent? My what? Said Robert. What seekest thou to accomplish? What is thine errand, that thou wanderest here alone among these rough men at arms? Poor child, thy mother's heart aches for thee now. I'll warrant me. I don't think so, said Robert. You see, she doesn't know I'm out. The leader wiped away a manly tear, exactly as the leader in a historical romance would have done, and said, Fear not to speak the truth, my child. Thou hast naught to fear from Ulfric the Talbot. Robert had a wild feeling that this glorious leader of the besieging party, being himself part of a wish, would be able to understand better than Martha, or the gypsies, or the policeman in Rochester, or the clergyman of yesterday, the true tale of the wishes and the summit. The only difficulty was that he knew he could never remember enough quarters and bassoon means and things like that to make his talk sound like the talk of a boy in a historical romance. However, he began boldly enough with a sentence straight out of Ralph de Courcy, or the boy crusader, he said. Gramercy for thy courtesy, fair Sir Knight. The fact is, is like this, and I hope you are not in a hurry, because the story is rather a breather. Father and mother are away, and when we were done playing in the sandpits, we found a summit. I quite thee mercy, a summit, said the knight. Yes, a sort of fairy or enchanter. Yes, that's it, an enchanter. And he said we could have a wish every day, and we wished first to be beautiful. Thy wish was scarce granted, muttered one of the men-at-arms, looking at Robert, who went on as if he had not heard, though he thought the remark very rude indeed. And then we wished for money, treasure, you know, but we couldn't spend it. And yesterday we wished for wings, and we got them, and we had a reaping time to begin with. Like thy speech is strange and uncouth, said Sir Ulfric the Table. Repeat thy words. What hast thou? A reaping, I mean a jolly. No, we were contented with our lot. That's what I mean. Only after that we got into an awful fix. What is a fix? A fairy? Afraid? Mayhap? No, not afraid. A tight place. A dungeon. A loss for thy youthful feathered limbs, said the knight with polite sympathy.
Well done.
It wasn't
okay.
a...
Okay, yep, that's it. Good. Okay, super. Let's have a look at your corrections. Hang on a second. Here you go. Okay, so we'll start with the first one, and here we'd say scathe. Now, normally nowadays you'd hear the term unscathed rather than scathe, which means uninjured. So I can only think that scathe is slightly old-fashioned, and it means you won't be injured. Okay, but if you emerge from something unscathed, it means you were not hurt in any way. Okay, yeah, harmed, and but scathe, I can't remember hearing, but unscathed you will hear. So he was unscathed, as in he wasn't hurt. Okay, so try it, Shiny. Scathe. Yeah, and try unscathed, which you're more likely to hear. Unscathed.
Unscathed.
Good. Now the next one, I'm not sure what word you read. Maybe you're reading from a different version. But in my version it says medicine. So you take medicine to get well, yeah? Medicine. Try it.
Medicine.
Yay, good. The next one, errand. An errand. When you have something to do.
Errand.
When you have something to do that somebody else has asked you to do it, sometimes for a little bit of money, we call it an errand. Try it.
Errand.
That's it. Then besieging is the siege. A siege, yeah, if you lay siege to somewhere, you stop people leaving or entering, you block the food. And if you're besieged, in that context, it means you've got an army stopping you leaving the place that you're in, or getting food, or having any deliveries. So you don't want to be besieged if you're waiting for an Amazon package. Okay. So besieging, try it.
Besieging.
Good. And then the next one, any Star Trek fan will know this one. To boldly go when no man has gone before. So it's boldly, bravely, boldly. Try it.
Boldly.
Yeah, not boldly, just boldly.
Boldly.
That's better, yeah. Then a crusader with an A, long A, crusader.
Crusader.
Yeah, the Crusades were a particular time in history, the Crusades. And the soldiers who fought in those wars were called crusaders. Then it's a breather, as in it basically takes a long time to tell the story. A breather. Try it.
Breather.
Yeah. Another one that's in common use, scarce. When something's scarce, you don't have much of it. Scarce. So like air.
Scarce.
Try it.
Scarce. Scarce.
That's it, yeah, good. Scare is something totally different. To scare someone, to make them frightened. Scarce means you don't have much of something, okay? Then uncouth.
Uncouth.
Yes, it means not very refined. Okay, so your speech is uncouth. Maybe not educated, not refined. Yeah. And the last one, unscathed. Oh no, that's no, we've done that one. That's no, okay, forget it. That's from scathed, unscathed. Okay, any questions? Everybody okay? Yes. It's like tossing a coin. I only do it from when people say to me, you can't really work out who's going to get the tough part. But Reem's probably quite pleased that you've read that part, Shiny. Honestly, this sort of knightly speech, you'll find a lot of it in the romance poetry. And we do, as children, we'll play with it. Pray thee, Cyril, wherefore goeth thou? It's probably not historically accurate, but as children, people do play like that. Especially if something like Robin Hood's on the television, or, you know, that kind of thing can set off these memes in school, and everybody's sirring and theeing and thouing everywhere. Okay, so, yes, exactly, you varlet. Okay, Reem, you are next to read. Are you ready? Oh, enchanter, sorry, Rara. An enchanter is somebody who casts magic. Okay, so maybe a magician or a wizard, and an enchantress is a witch or a sorceress. Yeah, so enchanter, somebody who casts magic. Okay, now you can say enchanted, which means you're very charmed by something, almost like it's. There was a garden open day, and we took our friends there, and because it was a private garden, normally you wouldn't be allowed to walk round, but it was a garden open day, so they had opened their garden to the public, and I was enchanted by it. It was lovely. But it wasn't cast by a witch or anything. It was just beautifully done. But an enchanter is somebody who uses wizardry. So Gandalf was an enchanter. Okay. You're welcome.
Is a witch always a
That
female?
would be an enchantress.
Person?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Witches
It's always a female.
Yeah, witches tend to be female. Wizards, sorcerers, males. Enchantress and enchanter is male, masculine. Enchantress is female, feminine. Okay. Shiny, take the mic. Shiny?
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Hello? Yeah,
Hello,
thank
hello.
you. I have a question. I joined the reading club, and they call us, everyone was an enchanter. I don't understand.
Oh, which
Is
is the
that
name
right?
they've chosen?
Every time they got something to say, they will say, okay, every enchanter, I'm going to say like that.
Okay.
Is that right?
I'm not sure if that's what they were saying. You sure they weren't saying engender or something, maybe?
Because they sent me a letter and they also write it in this word.
Okay.
So I was
Was it
confused.
written CH, enchanter?
Yeah,
There is
CHANT.
enchanté. There is enchanté. Sometimes people use the French enchanté, which means pleased. You know, I'm charmed. I'm pleased to meet you. Enchanté, and that can be a bit pretentious if they were. Or there's the word engender, which can also mean gives rise to feelings. I don't know why they would. If you can take a scan of the letter or send it to me in the forum, an actual example of a full sentence, I can try and make sense of it. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, you're welcome. I couldn't really. I don't know. Yeah, you can say thank. I can't really help you because I don't get the context in which they would use that. But you can send me a full sentence or a part of the letter in the forum, and I'll try and make sense of it. Try and see what they were trying to do. Okay. Okay. So Reem is up next to read. Reem, are you ready to start?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Whenever you want.
Which was yeah, or from and then?
You will be reading from. Hang on a second. Where was it?
A dungeon?
Yeah, a dungeon. Alas for my.
A dungeon?
No. It wasn't a dungeon. Yeah,
A dungeon? That is? No?
It wasn't a dungeon. That's the line you should begin from.
Yes. It wasn't a dungeon. We just encountered an undeserved misfortunes. Robert explained, and today we are pushed by not being allowed to go out. That's where I live. He pointed to the castle. The other are in there, and they're not allowed to go out. It's all the peasants. I mean, the insurance faults. I wish we'd never seen him. He is an initiator of might. Oh yes, of might and mine rather. And so, and though, and so, the mist, it is the spells of the enchanter, not enchanter, whom thou hast angry that have lent string to the peacemaking party, said the gallant leader. But now says that Wally-folk do Talib needs no insert ad to lead his flowers to Victor. No, I am sure you don't, said Robert, with hostile courtesy. teeth. Of course not. You wouldn't, you know. But all the same, it's partly his fault. But we're most to blame. You couldn't have done anything if it hadn't been for us. How now, bold boy? Bold boy, asked Sir Wolfric, Huffley. They speech in dark and icky. Scared, courteous, unravel me this rightly. Oh, said Robert, this partly. Of course you don't know it, but you aren't not really at all. You're only here because the others must have been adepts enough to wish for a castle. And when the sun sets, you'll just vanish away, and it'll be all right.
Well done.
The
Okay.
captain and the man at arms exchanged gallants, at first baiting, and then Stinner, as the longest boatman said, "Beware, my noble lord, the honor arcan does but think madness to escape from other galoshes. Shall we not bind him?"
Well done. Okay, so
yeah,
not all the most difficult stuff was in Shiny's section. Okay, so let's start with the individual words. You do get a smiley though. You corrected yourself once. That was very good. But we'll start with to encounter is the verb. To encounter, encountered. To meet, to encounter, encountered. Try it.
Encounter.
Yes, that's
encountered.
It. Encounter. And again, look at the syllables. You've got N, you've got count. So you know N, count, and then you've just got the ending, or in this case, plus the ed ending, which means it's in the past. You end up with encountered. Encountered. That's it. And it's the same with the next one. Don't get too confused when you see lots of syllables. We've got deserve, to deserve something, which means whatever you got, you deserved it. It was something you'd earned to deserve something. And then you've got undeserved. So you've got un and the ed ending to show it's in the past. Undeserved. Try it.
Undeserved. Undeserved.
Good. And then you've got another one that's just from the verb to explain. So I try to explain the pronunciation. I try to explain the meaning. And you've just got the ed ending that puts it into the past. It's a silent E. Explained. Try it.
Explained.
That's it.
Explained.
And then another silent E from to punish. Put it into the past. Punished. Try it. Punished.
Punished.
That's
Punished.
it. Then another verb, to allow. Another silent E. Allowed.
Allowed.
That's
Allowed.
it. Then there's a word here that is a made-up word, but we've had it often, so try to listen to other people's corrections. The Samiad. The Samiad. The fairy. Yeah?
Samiyet.
That's it. It's a word you just got to learn
Without
for this
B.
book. You
Yeah.
only need it for this book. You'll probably never need it again. Unless you meet a sand fairy. Okay, then again, listen to other people's corrections, because sometimes it can help you in your own or other people reading. This is enchanters. Yeah, enchanters.
Enchanters.
That's
Enchanters.
it, yeah.
I'm trying.
I
to be
know.
attention to this word, but
Now-
again I fall wrong.
Remember I said at the beginning, there's a lot of these and thous. So although we do say though, this isn't though, this is thou. It's you in the very formal, old English formal for you was thou. Okay? So thou.
Thou.
That's
Thou.
it. Yeah,
Thou.
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 Then deemest, we wouldn't put est ending on this anymore. It's just deem, to understand, to work out something. Yeah. Deemest is just old English. Add an est, it sounds like old English. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Timust.
Yeah, that's it. Then besieging, to besiege, besieging.
Besieging.
Yes.
Besieging.
That's it. And this is a common word, to aid somebody. Aid, to offer help. Aid.
Aid.
Yeah.
Aid.
If somebody offers to aid you, they're offering to help you. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got to follow, and then you've got the person who follows is a follower. And in plural, followers. Followers, not flowers. Followers.
Yeah. Followers.
That's it.
Followers.
Good. And then victory. V for victory.
Victory.
Yeah, that's it. Good.
Victory.
Then we've got a hasty courtesy. Hasty courtesy.
Yeah. Hasty. Hasty. Courtesy. No.
Yep. Close your eyes.
Hasty
Don't look at the words. Hasty.
Hasty.
Yeah, and then don't look at the word. Just close your eyes. Courtesy.
Courtesy.
Yeah.
Hasty courtesy.
That's it. Yeah. Sometimes when you're looking at the word, the letters will just muddle up in your brain. So sometimes it's worth just listening without looking at the word and then just repeating the sounds. Okay?
Yes.
Just to
because
retrain
I
your
am-
brain.
Yes. When I saw a long more letters, a long word, I become confused.
I know, but it's your brain that's confused. You can pronounce the words, just don't let the letters confuse you, okay? Then we've got
Okay.
fault. Somebody's fault. Who's at fault? Who did it? Fault.
Fault.
That's it,
Fault.
yeah. Blame. So when you find who's at fault, you can blame them. Blame.
Blame.
That's it. And haughtily. If you do something haughtily. Sometimes I might sound haughty when I'm speaking because I speak in a posh accent. She said haughtily. So haughtily.
Haughtily.
That's
Haughtily.
It's when you say something like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe you just did that." Okay. The next one is a fun word, a riddle. Riddle.
Riddle.
That's
Riddle.
it. Perfect. And then nobody here is an idiot, so we don't have any idiots here. Idiots.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Idiots.
And then if you glance at something, you look at it quite short, in a short way, just a quick look. Glances.
Glances.
Yay.
Glances.
And then pity or pitying.
Pitying.
That's
Pitying.
it. A young boy or a young child who looks like they might be poor might be called an urchin.
Urchin.
Yeah, urchin normally, not urchin. That's interesting. Let me just check
Urchin.
that. I say urchin. Yeah, but you might be right. There might be in the American, there might be. No, it's definitely urchin. An urchin.
Urchin.
That's it. And then if you pretend something, you feign it. To feign.
Feign.
Yeah.
Feign.
So to pretend, if you like. Okay. And then
Yes.
bind. Not bind, bind.
Bind. Bind.
Yeah.
Bind.
If you bind somebody, you tie them up. Bind. I've got
Bind.
bindweed in my garden and I'm trying to pull it up, and it just, because I was away for 3 weeks, the bindweed grew everywhere. It's over every single plant, trying to tie up the plants. I don't know why it does it, but it does. So I've got a lot of gardening to do. And then your smiley is for courteous. So courteous.
Courteous.
Very
Courteous.
good. Well done.
Thank you very much, Lee.
You're welcome. You're welcome. April's asked a question. Like Aid. I say Aid rather than aid. I say Aid, but I don't know which is correct. Hello, Moss.
Hello, Lee.
Hi. Okay, so any questions, anybody? Sorry, you just popped up on my screen. It's like you're looking out of the screen at me. Any questions, anybody, from that part of the text? A hasty courtesy. It means just being courteous, but very quickly. Anything hasty is quick. Okay, so a hasty courtesy would be if I was in a hurry and I went into a room and I was walking through the room, but somebody was in the room, I might say good morning and I'd leave. But I wouldn't want to be rude by ignoring their presence. So as I was walking through the room, I'd just go good morning, and that would be a hasty courtesy. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, then Rara, it is actually your turn to read now. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I am ready.
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yep, very clear. Good.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So, hello everyone. If I'm not mistaken, I should start from I am not no more mad than you are. Okay. I am no more mad than you are, said Robert angrily. Perhaps not so much. Only I was an idiot to think you'd understand anything. Let me go. I haven't done anything to you.
I'm so glad I parked at the front today. That's coming fast.
Whither?
Did we move our cars at the front of the building and just go? It's not going to take much.
Do you hear me? Because there are some noises.
Look at this, is coming fast.
Okay. Whither? Asked the knight, who seemed to have believed all the enchanter's story till it came to his own share in it. Whither wouldst thou wend? Home, of course. Robert pointed to the castle.
Don't, just let it go.
To carry news of succor? Nay? All right then, said Robert, struck by a sudden idea. Then let me go somewhere else. His mind sought eagerly among the memories of the historical romance. Sir Wulfric the Talbot, he said slowly, should sing full scorn to keep a chap. I mean, one who has done him no hurt, when he wants to cut off quietly. I mean, to depart without violence. This is my face, beshrew thee for a knave, replied Sir Wulfric. But the appeal seemed to have gone home. Yet thou sayest sooth, he added thoughtfully. Go where thou wilt, he added nobly. Thou art free. Wulfric the Talbot warreth not with babes, and Jackin here shall bear thee company. All right, said Robert wildly. Jackin will enjoy himself, I think. Come on, Jackin. Sir Wulfric, I salute thee. He saluted after the modern military manner, and set off running to the sandpit, Jackin's long boots keeping up easily. He found the fairy. He dug it up. He woke it up. He implored it to give him one more wish. I've done 2 today already, it grumbled, and one was as stiff a bit of work as ever I did. Should I continue reading? Oh, that's it.
No, carry on till I tell you to stop. You've got 2 more minutes to go, okay?
Can anyone hear me? I'm very sorry.
No, carry on. Carry on till I tell you to stop. You've got 2 more minutes, okay?
Okay, because actually I hear you and some other groups. That's why it's quite difficult to me to hear. If it's possible, you can chat. It will be even better. Type some words in the chat because
okay, you thought you were on your own.
I can hear two people talking. I don't know why, but
that's from. I don't know where that's from. It's nobody here. It must be somewhere near you or somewhere.
Yes, maybe.
It's very strange. Very strange. It's only coming through your microphone though. Nobody else's.
Okay, so shall I finish or just read the last line?
It's up to you. When you're in these sessions, you can say, okay, that's enough, or I'll tell you when it's enough. It's up to you, okay?
Okay, I hear you, so I can continue if you allow me.
Okay, of course you can continue. I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Oh, do, said Robert, while Jackin looked on with an expression of open-mouthed horror at the strange beast that talked and gazed with its snail's eyes at him. Well, what is it? Snapped the Samid with cross sleepiness. I wish I was with the others, said Robert, and the Samid began to swell. Robert never thought of wishing the castle and the siege away. Of course he knew they had all come out of a wish, but swords and daggers and pikes and lances seemed much too real to be wished away. Robert lost consciousness for an instant. When he opened his eyes, the others were crowding round him. We never heard you come in, they said. How awfully jolly of you to wish it to give us our wish. Of course we understood that was what you'd done, but you ought to have told us. Suppose we'd wished something silly. I guess that it will be enough because...
Okay, good. Well done.
Thank you very much. And I'm sorry because I've heard 2 talkings.
I don't know.
Maybe that...
You've got a crossover on your connection, on your microphone from somewhere else. It's never
sorry
had that
for
before.
that.
It was like having little ghosts in the room. But anyway, it's fine.
Oh my God. Now the music.
I could hear you fine. I could hear you very well.
It's really funny.
And you did very well. It was very good. Very good reading. So there's just one word and one little phrase, okay? So the word is nobly. He said nobly. It's a little bit like haughtily, but nobly means in a way that makes you sound noble. It makes you sound self-sacrificing. 'Tis a far, far better thing that I do now than I have ever done before. So really high high quality, if you like, as if you're doing something self-sacrificing, something noble, something grand, if you like. Okay, so nobly. Can you hear that? Oh, Rara can't hear me. Oh no. Can anybody hear me? Have I lost voice?
Yeah, yes, I hear you, Ian.
Okay. Can you 111 if you can hear me? Because I think it must be Rara's connection. She's got some weird connections, obviously, today. Ghosts in the machine. Okay, so you'll be able to... How strange. You'll be able to hear it in the recording. You have ghosts in your machine. Okay, so nobly, and then the bit, the little phrase there is just this to my face. When you do something to somebody's face, it doesn't mean you alter their face. It means you do it in front of them. Yeah. She said it right to my face, as in she said it right in front of me. I could hear everything they said about me. Okay, so he's a bit insulted. You just said that to my face. Nothing to do with the face, just your presence, in your presence. Okay. Okay, Traum. Oh, no worries. It's your turn to read now. So you haven't actually missed anything. Remember, if you are inactive for a while, the system might throw you out. So if you just don't type anything or move, it might think that you've left yourself in here by accident. It might throw, or it just might be your connection. Rara herself has had a right bit of fun and games today. She's got Spanish people talking to her and we don't know where they are. Rara, if you're watching the recording, what can happen if you have something like Skype open or Discord or another chat program, there can be crossover. Okay, or it might just be your connection has a crossover as well. I'd look into it if I were you, because it means you're sharing your bandwidth for one thing. You don't have anything open. It must be your connection then. Weird. Oh, that's really freaky. I can remember we used to have crossed lines on the telephone, like on the landline, on old telephones. You used to sometimes get crossed lines, but I never had it on the internet. That's weird. Maybe you're lucky. Yes. Do you speak Spanish? Can you tell what they're saying? That's the thing. Okay, so Traum, you probably need to know where you're reading from then, yes?
All right.
Okay. It's from page 175, from Silly, said Robert, very crossly indeed. Okay?
Okay, got it.
Good. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Yes, I am. Silly, said Robert, very crossly indeed. How much sillier could you have been? I'd like to know. You nearly settled me. I can't tell you. Then he told his story, and the others admitted that it certainly had been rough on him. But he praised his courage, and cleverness, so much that he presently got back his lost temper, and felt braver than ever, and consented to be captain of the besieged force. We haven't done anything yet, said Anthea comfortably. We waited for you. We are going to shoot at them through these little loopholes with the bow and arrows Uncle gave you, and you shall have first shot. I don't think I would, said Robert cautiously. You don't know what they're like near to? They've got real bows and arrows and awful length, and swords and pikes and daggers and all sorts of sharp things. They're all quite real. It's not just a picture or a vision or anything. They can hurt us or kill us even. I shouldn't wonder. I can feel my ear all sore yet. Look here. Have you explored the castle? Because I think we'd better let them alone as long as they let us alone. I heard that Chuckin man say they weren't going to attack till just before sundown. We can't be getting ready for the attack. Are there any soldiers in the castle to defend it? We don't know, said Cyril. You see, directly I'd wished we were in a besieged castle. Everything seemed to go upside down, and when it came straight, we looked out of the window and saw the camp and things and you, and of course we kept on looking at everything. Isn't this room jolly? It's as real. It was. It was square with stone walls 4 feet thick and great beams for ceiling. A low door at the corner led to a flight of steps, up and down. The children went down. They found themselves in a great arched gatehouse. The enormous doors were shut and barred. There was a window in a little room at the bottom of the round turret up which the stair wound, rather larger than the other windows, and looking through it they saw that the drawbridge was up and the portcullis down. The moat looked very wide and deep. Opposite the great door that led to the moat was another great door, with a little door in it. The children went through this and found themselves in a big courtyard, with the great grey walls of the castle rising dark and heavy on all 4 sides. Near the middle of the courtyard stood Martha, moving her right hand backwards and forwards in the air. The cook was stooping down and moving her hands, also in a very curious way. But the oddest and at the same time most terrible thing was the lamb, who was sitting on nothing, about 3 feet from the ground, laughing happily. The children ran towards him, just as Anthea was reaching out her arms to take him. Martha said crossly, "Let him alone. Do, miss, when he is good." "But what's he doing?" said Anthea. "Doing? Why, a-setting in his high chair as good as gold, a precious watching me doing of the ironing." "Get alone with you, do, my iron's cold again." She went towards the cook and seemed to poke an invisible fire with an unseen poker. The cook seemed to be putting an unseen dish into an invisible oven. "Run along with you, do," she said. "I am behindhand, as it is. You won't get no dinner if you come hindering of me like this. Come, off you goes, or I'll pin this cloth to some of your tails." "You are sure the lamb's all right?" asked Jane anxiously. "Right as 9 pence if you don't come unsettling of him. I thought you'd like to be rid of him for today, but take him if you want him, for gracious sake."
Very good.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Ooh.
well done. Sorry, I tried to stop you a little earlier and my mic wasn't working, but it's back now. So.
And I didn't stop.
No, well, you couldn't have heard me, so I've got no green lines for some reason, but never mind, it's working now. Well done. A couple of individual words. Let's go through those first. This is one of your favourites, I know, but it's not comfortable, it's comfortably. Comfortably.
Comfortably.
Not tibbly, tubbly. It's your schwa, your favourite. Comfortable, comfortably.
Comfortably.
That's it.
I hate this word.
I know, I do. And then daggers with an A. a dagger. Is this a dagger I see before me? So daggers.
Is it anything to do with to dig?
No.
No.
A dagger is a knife. The dagger
It's a knife.
in Macbeth
Okay.
that killed the bloody dagger. And if you look daggers at somebody, if you look daggers at someone, you look at them in a very negative way, a very hateful way. Okay? But dagger and daggers.
A dagger.
That's
Daggers.
it. Eleanor has a dagger, yes. Watch out for her in Second Life.
Okay.
Okay, the next one, bard.
Bard.
Yeah, a
Bard.
bar across the door. So a door can be locked, but if it's locked and barred, it means it's locked, and also there's maybe a big piece of wood barring it as well. It's an extra bit of security to bar the door, or maybe you've put a bolt. Yeah, a big iron bolt can also bar a door. Okay. Next one. A little bit of castle vocabulary, castle architecture, the portcullis. The portcullis.
Colors as the colors we know.
No, portcullis, not colours. Cullis is portcullis.
Portcullis. Portcullis.
It's the metal door that comes down in front of a moat. And you've got the drawbridge. So the drawbridge is like the bridge. You can walk across the moat, the big ditch round a castle. You have the drawbridge across it. You can walk across the drawbridge. But if the portcullis is down, it's like an iron grid. It just drops. Okay? Next time you walk round an old castle, see if you can figure out where the drawbridge is, where the portcullis is, where the moat is. They're the sort of words we learn in school, really. Okay. Then the next one, precious. Precious.
Precious.
Yeah, good. And then
Precious.
it was very funny, this one, because you said poker. So that's the metal poker you can use to poke the fire. The poke. So it's an O sound. Poker. Poke.
To poke.
That's it. Poke. No, you wouldn't poke your nose. You pick your nose. Yeah? To pick your nose.
Igitt.
And you
Poetry,
shouldn't
how
eat
can
it.
you mention this?
Don't pick your nose and eat it. But you might poke
God.
somebody. I think you can poke people in Kitely, actually. You can poke them. And people poke each other on Facebook. I don't know if that happens anymore. I always thought it was very rude. Then again, this invisible. Invisible.
Invisible.
Yes. And not too much stress on the invisible.
Okay.
The stress
Invisible.
is on vis. Invisible.
Okay. Invisible. Invisible.
Invisible.
Sounds it
That's
better?
it. Very
Invisible.
good. That's much better, yes. Well done. Good. Okay. And then you get a smiley because you corrected yourself. So cautiously, not courteously. Cautiously, courteously.
Cautiously. Courteously.
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 That's right. I know it looks like court, but when it's in in that, you've got curtsy, court, and courteously. Okay.
Can it be? Can I take it as a rule? When I see the letter I O U, then I say just A, and when I see the letter E O U, then I say E A.
Yes.
Courteously.
Yeah. Courteously. Yes.
Courteously. Courteously.
Yeah.
And when I see the letter I as cautiously,
Yeah.
then I skip the I out of the pronunciation.
Well, it becomes more of a sh and less of a t. Okay. So if you were to look for, let me just find words. Hang on a second. Words containing exactly Tias. let's find it. Okay, so if you look at some examples of different words, so you've got beauteous, then you've got bounteous. Okay, beauteous, bounteous, and you've got courteous, courteous. Okay, and then when you've got IOUS, then it becomes more of a sh. So ambitious. So it's more the T that is changed. Okay, cautious. Okay. Now, if you use, if you're struggling with these, is it a T or a sh? Is it an eus or an yus? Then what you can do is use something like word hippo and use a search like word containing, words containing, and then put in the tius or words containing. Okay, so it takes a bit of work, but if you're struggling with when do I say this and when do I say that, remember there's always going to be an exception, but generally you'll find a general rule of tius and shus if you look for that kind of search term. Okay?
Okay, Lynn, thank you.
Okay, so
you got it.
Let's move on. The next two are just phrases, and it's just about intonation, also very important. Okay. They can hurt us or kill us even, I shouldn't wonder. That I shouldn't wonder is like, I think. Okay. I shouldn't wonder, I believe, or I think. Okay. So try it. They can hurt us or kill us even, I shouldn't wonder. Try it.
Okay. But I can't understand why they put how is called the line, the small line, the dash.
Yeah.
Just in between us and or.
It's to show that he's just thinking lots of different thoughts. Yeah. Oh, they could kill us. They could hurt us. Oh my God. It's not part. It's almost the same part of the sentence, but using different words and going to extremes. So he starts thinking, oh, they might kill us and they might hurt us, and then he suddenly realizes they could even kill us. Oh my God. It's just to separate those two thoughts. Okay.
They can hurt us or kill us even. I shouldn't wonder.
Okay, good. And then the next one is...
Was the pause too long, Lynn? I mean, I didn't want to make up a pose.
No, exactly. It was fine. It was fine. It was much better than the first time. Yeah? I shouldn't wonder.
I just wanted that the reader understand what I want to say.
Don't worry. Don't worry too much about it, but that was much better. And then the next one, it's as real as real. It's as real as real. So sometimes you might hear somebody saying it's as something can be. So it's as real can be. It's so real it couldn't be any realer. That's all he's saying. So it's as real as real.
It's as real as real.
Yeah, that's it. It's just a saying. It's just a saying. It's as dangerous can be. Okay, very good. Well done. Okay, so we have run out of time. Sorry, Moz, but as you said, you were a little late and I wasn't able to add you to the list. So from next week, we'll be doing from... Okay, from this part of the sentence, from page 179, I think. No, they said, and hastened away. Okay. Yes, quite a few people. Okay, let me explain how I usually do it. When the session begins, and as you know, as you say hi to me, I add you to the reading list, and then I work out roughly how many minutes each person will be able to speak. Okay, and if you do come a little bit too late, I can't really add you because I've already allocated the minutes. So I hope that's okay. Sorry, but you know, it's the reading sessions are always a little stricter than the chat sessions. Okay. Okay, thank you for coming,
You will put
everybody.
your foot down, Lynn?
Sorry, April?
You will put your foot down?
I'm going to put my foot down, yes. Absolutely. You're welcome, Rara. Now, don't forget your corrections and everybody else's corrections are in the forum. If you do think, oh, what was that word? And look it up and practice it, maybe record it. If there's a word that you're struggling with or a phrase, then recording and listening to the corrected version in the YouTube video can be really helpful. Okay. Takes a bit of time, takes a bit of effort, but honestly, it's worth it. You'll find eventually. Takes time though. Don't be in a hurry. Okay, thanks a lot for coming. I'll be around on the forum. Any questions you can ask, and I'll see you in the next session. Don't forget there's karaoke tonight. So if you want to get involved, get onto Discord and come with a song prepared. Take care. Bye, Shiny. I hope to see you later. Bye-bye. Take care.